So today we're going to take a look at experimental probability and being able to estimate probability using our experimental methods. In experimental probability, the likelihood of an event is estimated by repeating an experiment or event many times and then observing the number of times the event happens. That number is divided by the total number of trials. The more the experiment is repeated, the more accurate the estimate is likely to be. So this is kind of like our lab that we were looking at. So the number of times that the event occurs over the total number of trials. So if a marble is randomly drawn out of a bag and then replaced, the table shows the results after 50 draws. We want to estimate the probability of drawing a red marble. So the experimental probability, they had 15. So this is going to be 15 out of the total number of draws, which was 50. And then we would just simplify. So we're going to divide each of these by 5. So the experimental probability was 3/10. Okay, so now if we look at the same thing, it's still 50 draws, but now we're looking at green. Now this one would be 12 because that's the favorable outcomes out of 50. Divide each of these by 2, and we're going to get 6/25 is the experimental probability for green. So why don't you pause the video and try this one on your own. So here a ticket is randomly drawn out of a bag and then replaced, and the table shows the results after 100 draws. So if we're looking for purple, our purple is going to be 55 out of 100. Once again, we can simplify though. So this is going to be 11/20. Same type of thing, so why don't you go ahead and pause this one, try this one out. Okay, so since it's a brown ticket, it's going to be 23 out of 100, and since we can't reduce that, there'd be a 23% chance of choosing a brown ticket. Now let's look at sporting events because that relates to a lot of what we do and stuff like that. So here we're going to use the table to compare the probability that the Huskies will win their next game with the probability that the Knights will win their next game. So Huskies have won 79 out of 138. So that's the Huskies. The Knights have won 90 out of 146. So we want to predict who is more likely to win their next game. So what we can do is actually change these into percents so they're easier to compare. So remember to do that. I'm going to take 79 and divide it by 138. And I get 0.572. So this is about a 57% chance of winning their next game. If I do 90 divided by 146, I get 0.616, so they have about a 62% chance of winning their next game. So the Knights have a slightly better chance of winning their next game than the Huskies do.